What if I told you that Sex and the City and Tell Me Lies are two sides of the same coin? Hidden beneath the glamour and heartbreak are characters so eerily similar. It's as if Lucy Albright is the millennial Carrie Bradshaw, lost in love, but always searching for something deeper. Let's start with Lucy. She's a complex character who seems hard to read when it comes to love. On the surface, Lucy Albright projects confidence and independence, especially when she breaks up with her high school boyfriend right before heading off to college. She doesn't seem fazed, no second thoughts, no tears, but this emotional detachment is less about strength and more about self-preservation. Her facade of control holds up until she meets Steven, who quickly unravels her carefully constructed armor. Now, look at Carrie Bradshaw. Like Lucy, Carrie seems independent, self-assured. She writes a popular sex column, navigates New York City with ease, and has plenty of romantic options. But her confident exterior begins to falter when she meets Mr. Big.
Felt like I owned the city. Nothing and no one could get in my way.
Initially, she plays it cool and detached, but much like Lucy, her emotional barriers start to crumble over time. Both Lucy and Carrie find themselves entangled into toxic relationships. Carrie with Mr. Big and Lucy with Steven. While Carrie wrestles with the highs and lows of love in New York City,
I don't even care if I'm in your life.
Lucy confronts the messy realities of emotional baggage and self-discovery.
Saying crazy things to each other. We love each other, okay?
Both women, despite their bravado, are ultimately trying to understand themselves through the chaos of the romantic entanglements. The first comparison between Carrie and Lucy becomes strikingly obvious when it comes to their insecurity and curiosity. Lucy attends Steven's ex's fundraiser after learning about his past, seeking to measure herself against the idealized version of Diana she has in her mind. In her pursuit of understanding Steven's past relationship, Lucy inadvertently places Diana on a pedestal, amplifying her insecurities and feelings of inadequacy. This moment reveals her need for control and her tendency to self-sabotage. It's not just about confronting Steven's past, but about grappling with her own vulnerabilities and fears of not being enough.
What is all this for?
Program for kids whose parents are incarcerated.
Oh my God, wow, that's actually amazing.
Similarly, Carrie finds herself at the office of Mr. Big's ex-wife, Barbara. Just like Lucy's visit to Diana's fundraiser, Carrie's encounter with Barbara exposes her vulnerabilities and forces her to confront her feelings about Big and his life. During this awkward, intense interaction, Carrie is reminded of her insecurities and fears regarding her relationship with Big, questioning whether she truly fits in his world. Both women's experiences highlight the deep-rooted insecurities they grapple with, blurring the line between love and self-worth. The comparison continues with both women being attached to emotionally unavailable men. For Lucy, her relationship with Steven becomes a cycle of heartache and disappointment that stretches over months. And even as she matures and dates other people, she finds herself irresistibly drawn back to Steven. Despite the emotional toll it takes on her, she struggles to break free from the intoxicating allure of their connection, finding herself caught in a pattern that feels familiar yet destructive. Similarly, Carrie's relationship with Mr. Big mirrors this toxic dynamic. Even after experiencing heartache and disappointment, she often gravitates back to him, convinced that he is her one true love.
How can you be engaged? You have a problem with commitment, remember? Just didn't want to marry me.
Despite the years of growth and the lessons learned through other relationships, Carrie finds herself returning to the same cycle of yearning and heartbreak, unable to resist the pull of their complex connection.
Freaked out for a minute, but I'm ready now.
You're humiliated!
I'm sorry.
Both women's experiences illustrate a troubling pattern. Even as they navigate the complexities of adulthood and their frontal lobes develop, the emotional ties to these unavailable men keep them trapped in a cycle of longing and heartache. They grapple with the fear of loneliness and the hope that their relationship might evolve into something deeper, even when reality suggests otherwise.
He left, I cried for a week. Faith that I would one day meet someone, would be sure I was the one.
The struggle reveals a profound truth about love and attachment. Sometimes the hardest part of moving on is letting go of what we thought we wanted. But because Lucy and Carrie can't let go of their infatuation of these toxic relationships, it leads to the next striking comparison. Their emotional entanglements often lead to reckless behavior and self-sabotage whenever they find themselves in more stable relationships. For Carrie, her involvement with Aiden showcases this pattern. Despite his genuine affection and stability, her unresolved feelings for Mr. Big lead her to undermine their relationship, pushing Aiden away just when he offers her the love she desperately needs. Similarly, Lucy's destructive tendency shows up in her relationships with Max and Leo. Despite the obvious red flags, she becomes entangled in these relationships, allowing her past experiences with Steven to cloud her judgment. Instead of recognizing the potential for a healthy connection, Lucy's fear of vulnerability and commitment prompts her to engage in behaviors that threaten her newfound stability. This self-sabotage stems from their deep-seated insecurities and the lingering impact of their toxic past, ultimately demonstrating how difficult it can be to embrace a healthy relationship when haunted by the ghosts of previous love. Both women illustrate the struggle between the desire for love and the fear of truly being loved. Although both shows are centered around romantic relationships, they also dive deeply into the dynamics of friendships and how both women navigate these connections. Lucy and Carrie are surrounded by a close-knit group of friends, yet both often prioritize their tumultuous romantic relationships over these vital friendships. This leads to a recurring pattern of avoiding accountability when confronted by these friends about the toxicity of their relationships.
Wake up, Carrie. How many more times are you going to go through this? He is bad for you.
Despite receiving multiple warnings from their friends, both Lucy and Carrie remain resistant to acknowledging the negative impact of their choices. Their unwillingness to accept responsibility for their consequences of their actions often comes off as self-centered, as they become more focused on their own perspectives and emotions rather than considering how their behaviors affect those around them. Instead of truly listening to their friends' concerns and advice, they often respond defensively.
God, Miranda, you are so judgmental.
Perpetuating a cycle of toxic relationships while neglecting the support and care offered by their friends. So I don't know about y'all, but watching Lucy and Carrie on screen literally makes my skin boil. If y'all agree that she's similar or y'all have y'all discrepancies and think they're actually different, please let me know, comment below. This is just something I saw when watching it. Tell me lies. I was addicted and watched the whole thing probably like 3 days. It was so good, but I just kept screaming at the TV because of how frustrating Lucy was, and it reminded me so much of how frustrating Carrie was. So let me know what y'all think. The next segment I'm going to focus on is Mr. Big and the comparison with Steven. I feel like they're really alike as well. Of course, Steven being more of a crazy person, but that's going to be for next time. Thank y'all for watching and have a great day. Bye.